Okay, you're good.
Okay. Hi, I'm Cathy Manus-Gray, and I am an artist living and creating in Cuyahoga Falls. And I'm really excited and thrilled to be part of the fundraiser for the Art Therapy Studio this weekend. So they do a lot of great things in the community, and so I'm really happy I can support them. Today, I'm going to be doing a mixed media collage and talk a little bit about my process and going to complete something that I already have started. But I start with, in this particular instance, I started with a collaged background, and I just kind of show what I did. And then I gessoed over it to give it a more uniform appearance. So that's my starting point. And then today I'm going to be working on these teacups. So I went in and I sketched the images and then went back in with a micron pen and drew them in. And then I'm going to be using some painted papers that I created to create the collage and create the finished piece. So, let's see. Get everything set up here. And I want to show you the some of the collage papers I made. These are all painted with acrylic paint, and it's really a free-form process. I don't really go in with a lot of preconceived ideas about what I'm going to do. I just kind of flow along and follow the process. I really tend to go for cool colors, so you'll see a lot of those in my work. This is another one I did. I did put some warm colors. I just created them, not knowing what I was going to use or what was really going to be calling to me. This one really reminded me of fall. So I was inspired by the colors outside. Some pieces already cut here. So I have a whole stack of them that I'm going to just look through and see what calls to me. And I'm probably going to start with some cooler colors. The paper that I'm working off of is pretty heavy. It's about 100-pound paper, and the painted papers are also pretty heavy, also about 100 pounds. So I'm using, instead of using like a glue stick or a thinner glue, I'm using a gel medium, which is a little bit thicker and it holds a little bit better than a thinner glue or a glue stick would. So basically what I'm going to be doing is looking at the shapes that I have already down, and then using the cut paper pieces to fill in the teacups. And I'm just looking for interesting places and interesting patterns or texture, something that's catching my eye that I think would make a nice piece for the collage. Let's start here. This takes some trial and error sometimes, so I just kind of keep cutting and piecing, and I usually go bigger than I need, but I just keep working it till it kind of and I might use more than one type of paper. sometimes with collage, I do a lot of collage, just straight paper collage, and sometimes I will leave the pieces and then put everything down and then glue it. But in this particular case, I think I'm just going to glue as I go. Sometimes I burnish down the collage pieces. It helps it stick a little bit better. Takes a little bit of pressure. Like I said, I'm using heavier paper, so Bob, my cameraman, is here working with me, helping. There we go. I like that better. Helping me have a better angle here on the camera. So. A new experience for sure. It's a good learning experience too. I'm really drawn to this piece of paper with the orange on it, and orange isn't really one of the colors I use a lot in my work, but I really do like that. Pink here. So I chose this particular image of the teacups balancing. I thought it was a great metaphor for kind of where we're at right now. We're balancing a lot, we're juggling a lot. And maybe that's true all the time for some people. I think we have an extra dose of things to balance right now. I thought this was a great metaphor for life as it is right now. And it's kind of interesting. I didn't mention, it's in my bio, but I didn't mention that I also trained as an art therapist. I am an art therapist and worked as an art therapist and a clinical counselor. So I do look at my artwork with that in mind a lot of times, and my process and my experience while I'm working. But it's an interesting look at and a realization that even though things sometimes seem a little tipsy, that somehow it all stays up, it all stays balanced, it all stays up in the air, or we're able to juggle all of that. So this is what I thought about. I picked the idea first and then thought about kind of how I was relating to it in the current my current life, and that's what I came up with. Juggling a lot. Feeling like I need something darker in there. The floor of where I work, my art space, always has a lot of these little pieces down on the because I'm constantly trimming and cutting and something about cutting and pasting I find very soothing. It's something I really enjoy doing. When I worked with clients, I did a lot of collage with them. I think it's something that people, even if you're not an artist, you can be very successful with. You can really create some fun pieces. A lot of people turned off by drawing, and sometimes me included, but I will draw once in a while, but sometimes that's intimidating for people that art isn't their main focus in life. So collage is a wonderful way to have some fun and relax. Looking for another piece, something that's maybe a little bit different. I seem really called to pink today, so I'm just gonna go with some more pink here. Trying out some things and seeing what works and what doesn't work, and sometimes, you know, that really nice thing about a lot of things with art, and I think I came to this kind of later in life, that you know, a lot of things can be changed. And I took a online class with a collage artist, and I was really amazed that she would just pull up things. If she didn't like something, she would just take it and pull it right out, and that just you know, even after it's glued, she'd pull it up if she didn't particularly like it. I like this a little bit better. This process too is, you know, one decision informs the next, and I just keep going until, and I don't, you know, have the black lines down, but I'm not tied to those. I can go outside of the lines, you know, just like anything else. If we want to go outside of those lines, sometimes we can, you know, in life we can go beyond those lines. We don't necessarily always have to stay in the lines when we're coloring or when we're creating. So some of the excess glue off there. I had the next thought of doing this one as a stripe, not necessarily filling in the whole cup. So we'll see how that goes. Turns out. I talk to myself a lot, so while I'm working. Wanted to pick up some of that orange that was in the saucer part of the cup. Good. I like that. I like those three. So let's see how this goes. actually.
So
that wasn't even me. That's
oh,
somebody else.
so we have two people, Kathy, that would like to know more. Beth and Jennifer would both like to know more about the kind of glue you use. Beth is wondering if it's white glue or Mod Podge, and Jennifer's wondering if you could just talk about your glue choices.
Oh, sure. This particular glue that I'm using is called Matte Gel Medium or Gel Medium. It comes in a lot of, there's a matte gel or a gloss gel, and I use the matte gel. That means the matte, M-A-T-T-E, the finish on it. So it's not shiny or glossy, because it doesn't matter. I'm putting it on the back side, so you know, I don't necessarily need anything that's going to be glossy. And it's a little bit thicker, so it'll hold heavier paper, which this paper is about 100 pound. I think it's 100 and something pounds. So it's a pretty heavy paper. And I have tried so many glues, and it's a great question because I think it's one of those, you know, everybody has a preference eventually of what they like, but it is one of those mysteries. It's something that we have to really, everybody has to experiment with and find out what they really like. When I did a lot more bookmaking, I would use a PVA glue, which is poly something or other, a scientific name. PVA glue, which is a thinner glue, almost like an Elmer's glue. And that was great for bookmaking. But for collage, I either use the matte gel. Sometimes I use a glue stick. And it just depends. If I'm working, I do a lot of just really quick types of work, collage work and mixed media work, just as a daily practice to kind of keep my art flowing and my creativity flowing. So with that, if I want to work really fast, I'll use a glue stick. And I really like, I have a couple I really liked. They don't make it anymore, but the tacky glue, Eileen's tacky glue used to make a glue stick, which I really loved. They don't make it anymore. So I usually use the Yoo-Hoo for just a quick, you know, if I'm doing a lot of quick work and I need something that's really fast and I don't feel like handling a paintbrush. I do like using, because I have, you know, I can put it right where I need it and I get it to the edge a little bit better when I'm using a paintbrush or a brush. There's also this particular product, and I'm not endorsing anybody because I, you know, just what I'm using is Liquitex. But there's also, Golden also makes a bunch of mediums. They have heavy body, which is for heavier things. It's a real thick, it's thicker. And then they have a soft gel, which is like this. This is a softer gel, which is a little bit lighter. So it just depends on what you're doing, what type of project you're doing. And sometimes a personal preference. There's also some other glues that, Yes Paste is also really nice for collage. And I use that sometimes. And all my glues are in this cabinet. I have like a whole shelf of just glue. There's also thinner matte mediums as well that are more of a fluid glue, even more fluid than like Elmer's glue. So that's another, I mean, there's just tons of options out there, and it can be a little overwhelming and baffling sometimes about what to use. So those are, and there's also another one that I just recently became aware of. It's called Nori Paste. And it also works really well. It's a little bit similar to the Yes Paste. So they both come in a jar like this matte medium does. Probably more than you ever wanted to know about glue. But it does become a personal preference. I'm trying to decide what to do up here. And that. I have this thing about going in the wrong direction. My brain just doesn't work that way sometimes. So I cut things the wrong direction. Yeah. I'll scooch it in there somehow. I really like the dark color, and it'd be a nice contrast next to that really light pink. So that's where I'm thinking I'm gonna go. Let's see. Thought I'd like that a lot more than I do. Let's try something else here. I'm just not jazzed about that. I would like it more than I do. So let's try something else. This guy here. So the art therapy studio was one of the ways I really got back into creating after many years of not doing a lot of artwork. So I took a couple of different classes there that I really enjoyed. I took a bookmaking class. I took a couple bookmaking classes and a collage class that I really enjoyed. Enjoyed both of them. So it was a good springboard again for me to get back to creating after many years of not doing a whole lot. I did a little bit, but I had gone to art school many years ago and didn't have the best experience there. So I never went, I kind of quit art for a long time. And but art's one of those things that if it's something that calls, I think it's hard to get away from. It's it's hard for me to talk and work at the same time. I don't know if you can.
You're actually doing a great job.
Thanks. I pause because I'm like, my brain's going back and forth between what I'm saying and thinking about what I'm also focusing on doing. But art, I think, was such an important thing in my life that it was hard to totally quit it. So I'm glad to have rediscovered it and be able to spend so much time just enjoying doing art now. Sometimes with these pieces that I do like this, I feel a lot like I'm putting together a puzzle, or I'm making the puzzle pieces myself and fitting it all together.
It reminds me a little bit of like maybe some of like the meditative tangling processes because it's so detailed.
Yes, that's true. I think that is an accurate comparison. Right. That's something a little bit darker. Let's see what happens. My cat might be making an appearance here pretty soon too. We'll see. Yeah, he likes to make a visit every once in a while when I'm in here. He wants to know who I'm talking to. There's something a little bit darker. Maybe this is. corner here that I glue on. Go back. I am using a fair amount of pressure on this because it is, I keep saying it's heavy paper. So I'm gonna just look at it and see. I feel like I need a little bit more dark colors. I'm not a real big dark color person, but I think for contrast it needs some more dark. So I'm gonna go back in and add maybe just a little bit of dark here and there. I really keep going back to this color. It's nice to have the contrast to make it a point of interest. Give some variety. Try that out. Oh no. Oh. All right, so oh, so we got a little bit of tea spilling out of our cup here. So I'm gonna add in this. I won these little scissors at a raffle. And I thought, what am I going to do with these teeny tiny scissors? I use them all the time. They really come in handy for small pieces of paper. And I have to on the bottom a little bit here. It was tricky to draw the teacups on here because this is the background is really textured. This is my table, my foundation for my teacups. I have a foundation here, a little bit of pattern on the bottom of my table. Do a checkered tablecloth. Again, I'm looking for a little bit of contrast. I don't have all like middle value types of shapes and colors. I want some dark, I want some light, and I want some middle as well. So thinking about what do I still need? Do I still need maybe a little bit more dark? And I think I do. Over here. All right. Oh, all right. I'm liking how that's working.
Believe it or not, Cathy, you have 10 minutes left.
Okay. That's
So
good. It's timing. I want to add one more thing,
it's
and
looking
then go ahead. I'm sorry.
it's looking really great.
Thank you.
While you're putting the finishing touches on, I want to invite you to share with our audience if you have any shows coming up or where people can find you or follow you and see what you're up to.
Oh, sure. I am on both Instagram and I have a Facebook page as well that I go by Cathy Manus-Gray Creative, all one word. I mean, all one, all ran together. um, and yeah, that's the main place to find me. I sometimes sell work out of, we have here in Cuyahoga Falls, the Cuyahoga Valley Art Center. And of course, they aren't doing a whole lot right now. I know they're open for classes, but I don't believe their store is open. But I sometimes sell through there. I'm still, I'm relatively new to social media, so I'm getting the hang of that. I actually enjoy sharing work on those platforms. I always like to put spirals in my work, so that's what my finishing touch here is going to be. I also wanted to mention we really, Bob and I really enjoy our tea here at our house. So included as part of whoever puts a bid in and wins the bid on this piece, I'm also including some tea that we really enjoy. So we have English breakfast tea, jasmine green tea, and French blend tea. So those will also accompany the finished piece of art. So you can, for people that enjoy tea or know someone that enjoys tea.
That's really cool.
We have a great tea shop down in, it's actually in Canton, North Canton, where they have, so many teas and we really, they're a great family owned business and we like to support them and we love our tea here. So thought we'd pass that along and share. All right. We have a lot of conversations among us artist friends about how do we know when our work is finished. And I think somebody mentioned that on one of the videos. I think it was Mickey mentioned it on her video. And that's how I feel. I could keep working and doing something to it. But it's like, when do we decide our work is finished? And I guess when I put my spiral on, that means my work is finished.
It's just wonderful, Cathy.
Thank you.
Can you hold it up to the camera so we can see it?
Sure. Sure. I have it on a board so it gives it a little bit of.
Oh, very nice.
Can you get it on?
Yeah, that's great. Well done.
Oh, thanks.
It's
It
so
was fun.
wonderful. Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, we really want to thank you for taking the time out of your Saturday to be here with us and share your art.
Oh, sure. It was fun. I'm glad I could do it. I'm glad
Well,
I was able to be here
it was
today.
it was just great watching you work. It was so soothing.
Oh, good. I do have that effect on people. I used to speak. I used to be an herbalist. I would go out and do presentations on herbs and gardening, and people would always tell me I was very calming. So I know I have that reputation.
That's awesome. Well, you've kept it up here.
Oh, good.
Well,
Yeah.
we're gonna say goodbye. We're getting ready to launch into our next person, but really just want to say thank you and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Oh, sure. Thanks. You too. And good luck with everything. I hope you meet your goal and people will support your good work that you guys do there.
Thank you. Thank you.